Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go over the MCA traction mod version 2 and the STI trailing arms. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so why don't we start with the traction mod. So the MCA traction mod V2, basically the purpose of it is to remove anti-squat in the rear of the car. So as you can see here, the basically stock pickup point for the trailing arm itself is generally up here. So this mod moves the trailing arm from up here to down here. So it moves it lower, as you can see from the bolts. So what does that do essentially? So the rear suspension in the GT86, FRS, whatever, actually comes from a WRX. So it's a, all-wheel drive application. So the WRX sends only 40% of its power to the rear wheels and the other 60 to the front wheels. So they designed it so that it would have anti-squat. So essentially, instead of the rear fully squatting and sending all of its weight to the rear under acceleration, it would anti-squat and try to keep some of that weight over the front axles. In a rear-wheel drive application, obviously 100% of the power is sent to the rear axles. So we don't want really anti-squat. We want the rear to squat a little bit so there's more weight transfer to the rear wheels and you get better traction. So that's the purpose there. I have most of the reviews I've seen online have been positive. People have said that the rear end feels a little bit more like sophisticated, that there definitely is more traction. Just it feels more planted, and the rear end seems to follow more what the front end is doing. So yeah, I'm excited to try it. All going well, I should have it installed in a couple of days from filming this video, and hope to have a track day coming up soon as well. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the next part we'll talk about is the STI trailing arm. So this is kind of optional. Basically what it's doing, it might be kind of hard to see, but what it's doing is it's changing the rubber bushing from a rubber bushing to a pillow ball. So yeah, this is now a pillow ball mount instead of a rubber bushing. So there's not much of any kind of side-to-side play. The stock one that's on the car is rubber over here, and obviously rubber over here as well in the knuckle. And there's a lot of lateral play in it. So I think this should make a decent improvement as well. Yeah, beyond the performance gains from changing to the pillow ball, the arm itself is obviously it's new, right? So it looks nicer under the car. To go along with that, I also went and bought new hardware. So new bolts and nuts from Toyota. I also went and bought this as well. Mine's kind of rusted out. This is just the brake line, the fuel line, I forget. I think it's the brake line for the e-brake sits in here. So nothing really crazy there, but yeah, so that's a little bit of an overview there. The MCA traction mod I bought directly from MCA. If you are in the UK, they actually Fensport carries them as well. The trailing arm I got from Subaru in Japan. I used Japan parts to get it. Shipping was actually very quick from Japan parts. I will probably use them again. I'll leave some links in the description below of where I got all the stuff, and I can also leave the part numbers for the new bolts. The install itself shouldn't be too bad. Essentially, this bolts to the subframe. There is a new bolt that comes with the MCA traction mod. It's a really big one that goes through the subframe. And then obviously, as you can see, I already have put together the traction mod will bolt into here, and then this bolts towards the rear of the car on the knuckle. So it's really not too bad. And this bolts to the original location of where the lateral arm is now, where the trailing arm is now. So yeah, maybe about an hour, 2 hours. Probably the most difficult thing will be is probably you just want to support the rear subframe so it doesn't move after you take the bolt out. You want to do one bolt at a time, and you don't want to use power tools as you could easily strip the big subframe bolt. So all right, that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw them on the car, and we'll pick it up after the install. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the plastic panel. So it's one 12mm bolt and then 2 pop rivets. There is another 12mm bolt on the back, but you don't really need to remove it for this job. With the panels removed, you can get a good look at the 19mm subframe bolt that we need to remove. So you're definitely going to want to remove the tire. Makes this job a lot easier. Now you can loosely install the traction mod if you want. And the order here is not that important. As you can see in the background, I do have the diff supported with a jack, just so there's some tension on the subframe. You're going to want to use hand tools only for this part. The subframe bolts can easily cross thread, so no power tools. Slide the bolt in as far as you can and just start to hand tighten it. Then slowly snug it up with the ratchet. It shouldn't really get too tight during this process. Torque for this bolt is 145 Newton meters. Once that's done, that's basically it for installing the traction mod. Just go ahead and reconnect the trailing arm, put the covers back on, and yeah, that's it. This is what the finished installation looks like, including the STI trailing arms. I did take it for a quick spin, make sure everything was okay, and yeah, the biggest difference I noticed, how it soaks up the bumps now. It feels more like the rear suspension is soaking them up. You know, the rear suspension is working rather than just kind of skipping over the bumps. So it just inspires a lot more confidence. The car feels more planted. Overall, the ride quality seems like it's increased as well. So I'm very happy with the mod. Even if I don't get any faster on track, I'm still very happy with it. The car just, like I said, rides better and does a much better job over the bumps. Now it's time to see how it does on track.